Good evening, I'm Tom Battista. I'm running for Windsor County Sheriff. Please call 802-228-8808 if you have any questions that you'd like to ask regarding what sheriffs do or what my platform is coming up for this election, which the primaries are August 9th. And so I've been with them for 20 years. I've done functions from patrol deputy to the administrative functions in the office. That's my experience with the department. Primarily, I have focused on contracts, financing, and grants. Over the years, we have participated in numerous programs. A lot of these federal grant programs provide equipment and funds for salaries for specific purposes, such as impaired driving enforcement, occupant protection, distracted driving enforcement, etc. My platform that I'm running on is number one of my key points is to provide a proactive mental health team to be involved with the community to actively participate and help these people get resources, build rapport, and get services that they need, instead of having a crisis for something that we can actually hopefully prevent by something as simple as building rapport with people. Another item that I think that's really needed, especially in today's day and age, is transparency in policing. My model, my platform would be to have a civilian review board to review complaints that would be filed against the Windsor County Sheriff's Department deputies. The Civilian Review Board would have its own internal affairs officers assigned to it so that he could guide them through the policies and procedures that are on file with the Windsor County Sheriff's Department, so that they could use that as a guide to see if there was any wrongdoing or actions that need to be corrected on the part of the deputies. That would also play into another platform of community involvement. We need to get the community involved so that people are telling us what's out there in the community, what the priorities are, so that we can work to hopefully address those issues and prioritize them in the need that the community wants. Of course, in order for us to do that, as you all know right now, policing has seen a serious decline in officers, deputies, whatever you'd like to call it.
This is Mike Filipiak. I'm a Springfield resident.
Mr. Filipiak, good evening, sir.
Good evening. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Batista, I know you have a long experience in public safety, and the question I have is, when you administer an office like the sheriff's office, how do you measure success? What metrics do you look at? How do you say I've done a good job, and how do we communicate that to the people? Because I really don't know how you evaluate it and how individuals in the community see it.
Mr. Filipiak, that's a great question. I would say that you would evaluate it by having the community become involved with the Sheriff's Department on a regular basis, getting involved in events, and hopefully seeing programs that the Sheriff's Department works with within the various community programs that we can develop to hopefully gauge the success on the individual programs. And hopefully, I would view success ultimately as having community involvement and having the community trust and know the officers, so that you have that rapport with the community, so that the community is providing information to the department so that officers can take actions to prevent crises from occurring, hopefully before they occur. Again, to say a specific goal, that would probably have to establish for each kind of a program that you are running as to what would our end goal be. It could be something as we reduce the amount of people that are homeless and need meals by providing those services to them. Could be also people that are in need of services such as applying for benefits on welfare, etc. There's programs out there that people can help these people get the services and programs that they need, because some of them don't know where the resources are. So I would say probably your biggest thing is to get the resources to the people in the community, and then have the community be the one that would engage with the department, and the ultimate success would be with the community. That's how I would view it. Is that kind of along lines what you were thinking?
That's a good answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
Not at this time.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a great question. Have a great evening.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Again, please call. Oh, we got another caller. Good evening. It's Tom Battista, candidate for Windsor County Sheriff.
Hi, Tom. This is Sam. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay, Sam, thank you.
My first question is sort of a long one. Why do you want to take a more active and demanding role in law enforcement at a time when most officers are counting the days until they can retire?
Okay, can we take them one at a time? Is that what your plan's going to be, Sam?
Yeah.
Okay. My whole purpose of doing this is, I've been with the department, as I said, for 20 years. What's occurring right now in society, I have not seen in 20 years. We've had COVID for the past couple of years that threw us into a tailspin. You've had other incidents throughout the country that everybody knows that have also thrown law enforcement a curveball, with a decline in public safety applicants coming to departments nationwide. This is not a state, county, or anything level, it's nation level. I feel that as sheriffs in Vermont, we have a good broad base to counteract and hopefully change this whole paradigm that's out there, to get more people involved, to help out the communities into law enforcement. One of my plans would be to diversify, obviously, our hiring group, to get out to colleges, to start with internship programs, for example, with criminal justice programs, get those people to the department, have them working with the department early on in their career, partnership with the colleges, so that this is a ongoing program to build them with the department, get their experience, they're getting educated, the department's getting an educated candidate, and we're going to work through the program to hopefully, when they graduate, come on board into law enforcement and help them, help us and the community all benefit from that partnership. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes. My second question is, how many times have you discharged your weapon in the line of duty?
So, to clarify your question, I've dispatched deer, but that's not what you're asking, I'm taking guess. Are you asking if I've actually discharged my firearm at an individual or assailant?
Yes, in a use of force type situation.
I have never discharged my firearm. I've always been able to de-escalate the situation so that as to not use that. That is the last resort that I ever want to use.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much. Great questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, how's she? Get it again. Yep. Yeah, no.
There it is.
Good evening. This is Tom Battista.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. I live in White River Junction, Vermont, and I have a question for Thomas.
Go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay, my question, I guess, is that I am a big mental health advocate for people with mental health disabilities or whatever, and my concern is there's a lot of them that are homeless right now, and there's such a big stigma that people in the community just don't seem to understand. What would be some of your ideas that we could help people that have mental health disabilities or are veterans that are homeless or families or whatever?
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. Could I get your name off you just for a second so I can refer to you?
Sure. My name is Linda Carbonell.
Yes, Miss Linda Carbonell. Pleasure. So one of my plans would be, again, to have a proactive mental health team out there in the community seeing people. In addition to that, another one of my platforms would be to have deputies performing community service. We would definitely want community service would be in plain clothes, not necessarily uniform. They want you, a member of the community, actively proactive in that community doing something. You hit it on the head. A good place to be would be to help some people that are homeless, work with programs, work with veterans to get them the help and the assistance that they would need, because each of them requires a different assistance. We also want to do a public forum, but I know there may be a stigma with some people that are homeless. They're afraid of law enforcement officers. So there's a fear there. That's why I like to have the plain clothes, have people embed themselves, immerse in these communities, talk to people, see what's going on. Of course, we want everybody's quality of life to be the maximum that it can be, and that differs for everybody. But we need to help people get resources to make that happen. And this is the whole thing that we want to do, is to work as a community to show the community that we are there to help them out. It's not necessarily always about specific laws that are on the books. Police officers protect and serve the communities. Like, if sometimes we focus on that one too much, we forgot about that, how can we serve the community? And these are ways we can serve the community. Maybe it's by helping these places get some more food. Some of these, especially in the summer when you have a lot of these farm stands and other places, things that aren't sold, maybe we can get that down there to them. Help them out with this. Again, us get involved with you, so that we want that rapport built between us and the community. I think you have a lot of community members that want to get involved. I think sometimes especially with COVID, it's thrown everything into a loop that we've all been isolated. And now we've got to come back together stronger than ever with that synergy, work, put people and everybody together, places in the community, and make things happen. It's going to take time.
Another thing I wanted to say, too, is that as speaking as somebody that does have a mental health issue, I think for most of us, I think it's like we would like to give back, too. I mean, we would like to do that, too. Just because we're disabled doesn't mean that we don't like to give back to the community, too. Wouldn't this be nice if we could do this together?
I think a mentoring type program, as you just said, would be awesome. Volunteers, again, I may be wrong, you can tell me if I am, Linda, but I think if you start doing this and we get people in that community that better themselves, help themselves by doing this, I think they would probably want to come back and help people too. And that's probably the whole goal of the success, is to have this program start helping others help themselves. Exactly.
And then they can help others the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I agree with you. We have to start this, get the public involved. It's a trial and error. We're going to learn as we go, but we've got to start somewhere. And I think by us coming together as a community, getting involved, we can put all this together and make it work in a fashion that helps everybody.
And one last question I wanted to ask is, how do we get the homeless and the community together? How do we get both sides to come together and talk?
I would probably, if it was me, we're probably going to try to have to do something with the community and go to the homeless. We may want to try to bring them in to talk with us, but I think with the initial fear of law enforcement, the plain clothes, start little by little, talking to them, building a rapport, and that would lead more into the community type services, I think.
Absolutely. Not only that, but I think it would create a sense of friendship between the police department and people that are suffering either mental illness or addiction or whatever. I think you're right on. You're hitting the head on right on the nail there. Is if we see you at your level, at the level of you put your britches on the same way we do, or whatever, you know.
Yes.
That there creates less fear than what there normally is. So I'm all for this, and I think it's great. I
do
really
too.
appreciate it, Thomas.
Very, very, thank you very much, Linda. And you and I will be in touch because we're going to come up, you and I have talked before, we're going to do this. We're going to get out there and meet some people and start this program working.
Me, I would love to do that.
Absolutely. I'm with you.
Okay, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for calling and for the questions.
Okay.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Thanks now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I haven't been watching, sorry. So commentator Noyes, while we're waiting, as a criminal justice major, what would you think would be a goal that we should, I think internships are a great program to build skills. Can we partner with the schools? I think this might be a good program.
Definitely getting to partner with schools, high schools, colleges, all these kinds of different programs. Starting out young, you were talking about community. Elm Hill, Union Street, I don't care. Start young, bring them up. Having those people that you can go to, especially when it's a local officer or something like that, that's a huge influence right there.
Yes.
I mean, for me personally, I went into my health room at least once a week. We had an officer in there come in, hang out. Probably one of the biggest reasons I went into law enforcement.
Excellent.
Absolutely perfect idea. You need to definitely continue with that. I think that's amazing. Just definitely with the programs and stuff like that and all of those ideas, that's amazing because everything is just getting more expensive. People are trying to just figure out what they're going to do next, but they're going into it uneducated, and that's unfortunate.
Well,
so
there's programs out that we can do to help reimburse and get the quality candidates that we need.
Definitely.
So
can only help the community.
Right. I think we need to partner with the schools and the communities. I think we can do this. So that's great. I'm glad to hear you say that. Please again call 802-828-8808 if you have any questions that we can answer for you. With these partnerships, is anything currently being done like that in the criminal justice program now? Did you know of?
I know that there are some departments for at least for college students. This has nothing to do with high school students. I know that some of them have talked to college students at least my school about going and starting there and them trying to help them pay off their loans, but nothing to the extent that you're talking about with being able to like have those communications and those roots. That's nothing crazy like that. A lot of different jobs have things that can help you pay off your loans, but I feel like having the component with community and being able to come back and realize where you started, have that educational background, all of that kind of stuff, that's out of this world. That's insane.
So basically right now there is no program, from what I'm hearing you say, like I would like to propose is to have you, it would have to be, of course, go through your counselors. And the school would probably have to, funding wouldn't be an issue, we can fund the program. Getting you involved with the program, it could be a short-term or long-term program depending on the candidate, and we could possibly focus on different things. You may want to be like a school resource officer, for example. You might want to be a patrol deputy. You might want to be something other specialized area, maybe a program that you'd want to develop when you came out of college. I say you, not you, as just using you as an example. Saying that you were our candidate. What would be some interest is if we had this, saying that you were doing this program, what would your ultimate goal be that you'd be looking to do? What's your dream job?
Oh, goodness. I mean, currently, I would definitely love to. Ideally, if this program was a thing, I would probably go into school officer position. Okay. But my ideal area to end up in is juvenile corrections. And so being able to have that kind of background would be insane. It's just very helpful. But yeah, that's where I'd want to end up.
So I know I'm going to put a lot on you here.
Oh, goodness.
So let's say we started you out as a school resource officer.
Okay.
You came out. What would you, if you wanted to stay with our department, what would you, I understand that you want to go into juvenile corrections. Is there any other juvenile type program that you'd like to do that could help the community that you could think of?
I mean, I definitely think that we need to have more, if that's what you mean. I think that a situation where we could have more programs, or a program that leads off from, hey, I did this for a while in the school as a school officer, and now I kind of want to move on before and go in. If there was more programs to where we could work with kids, that would be great. I don't know of many around me, at least, that exist right now that I could do further on after doing that before going into juvenile corrections with my police department, at least.
So I know we're not watching you time very well here. So in juvenile corrections, what would your ultimate goal be to do with these children that have a past, let's just say, because they're juveniles? What would you want them to do to kind of tell me what you're looking to end result there?
Honestly, my personal goal would be to help them, give them somewhere to go, somewhere to feel like home, even if that's a person, me, talking to me, being able to grow, and understand that they're not alone, and help them down that path, because a lot of them don't really have that kind of connection with anything, community, people, their parents, their families. So that would be my personal goal, and hopefully with that personal goal, if fulfilled, they would be able to have that kind of connection, that kind of, oh, I can do this, I am bigger than, I am my own person. So I would want to lead them towards something like that.
So it sounds like if we could come up with a program to be a little more proactive versus having them committed these things, could we come up with a program maybe in like high school and others that you could work with to prevent this and give those resources there? That's
where I was leading when I was saying, at least in my town, I know that we don't have a lot of that. It would be absolutely amazing, because having earlier programs before, I mean, that age group is like the most, you're getting into some trouble. So being able to have, especially with children with past, that kind of like program, amazing.
So it sounds like we're on the right track. The program could work, have somebody that would graduate, come out and actually start this program and have the skills to run it efficiently, and possibly to even move on up in the process and expand the program.
Yeah.
And again, you need pilot programs. You got to start somewhere.
Oh yeah, so, no, we need to start somewhere.
And we need to start soon. So
yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you.